128 players came to the Robin Park Tennis Centre in Wigan today, chasing the title of Players' Championship 13 and the £10,000 first prize. And on a baking hot day in Wigan, everyone is hot, everyone is a sweaty mess, and Steve Beaton is stood here at the end, challenging Gary Anderson in a battle of former world champions. It's the Flying Scotsman versus the Bronze Adonis for £10,000. I'm Dan Dawson. Chris Murphy joins me in commentary for the climax of Players' Championship 13.
Yeah, and what a climax it could be. We were talking all day that the heat could be a factor. It is incredibly hot here in Robin Park in Wigan, and we should have thought about it, shouldn't we, that Steve Beaton would obviously get to the final. A man who calls himself the Bronze Adonis. You might not have thought that he'd be up against a Scotsman, but Gary Anderson seems to have been one of the coolest men around here, handing out some towelings along the way, including 2 against a couple of his apprentices.
Yep, saw off Adam Hunt 6-2 and Michael Smith 6-2, but you look at the results that Gary Anderson has put together in the back end of this day. He just seems to have got better. 6-2 against Michael Smith in the last 16. Kim Huybrecht swept aside 6-0 in the quarterfinals, and Daryl Gurney only got 1 leg against him in the semis.
Yeah, and it all started with a 6-5 win against Roby John Rodriguez earlier on. And he just seems to have got better and get the advantage from our commentary position to see the action around the arena, to see the players wandering around. And Anderson has had this cheeky grin on his face all day, and you know that some of that is down to beating Michael Smith and Adam Hunt.
Yes, I'm sure they gave him great pleasure. But he's up against one of the old stagers in World Darts, and it doesn't matter if you've been playing this game for 30, 35 years, sometimes you can still have an awkward handshake at the start of it, and that's exactly what we've got, as Beaton kicks things off, and not ideally against the 2-time world champ.
Well, no, not when he's going to start with a 180.
Which is exactly what the Flying Scotsman does. Now, do not write off Steve Beaton, because at times he has been imperious. He's silky smooth best. On this very board, the start of the day, he kicked off with a 6-0 win
100
against Matthew Dennant. He's had another 6-0 against Kirk Shepherd. That was in the quarterfinals.
140.
And it's this sort of stuff he was doing. Back-to-back ton 40s.
Yeah, in between that, wins against Keegan Brown, Robert Owen and Dave Chisnell. And perhaps the most impressive of all, a 6-3 win against Rob Cross, a man who had won his previous 12 matches, including wins that took him to the most recent Players' Championship title in Milton Keynes.
Beaton leaves 1-2-5. Anderson, 18s he looks at now. Gets it for the bull. Ooh, not a million miles away. Beaton will probably look at the bullseye first dart here himself.
Has to. Treble 20 now. Kicked off the last match with a 1-2-4 in leg 1. Kicks off this one with a 1-2-5 in leg 1. What a start from Super Steve.
Well, he's taking on the world number 2, the highest ranked player in action here today. No Michael van Gerwen, a late withdrawal. Gary Anderson has underlined his world ranking with his performances so far today. But that's only the second leg he's lost in the last, what?
180.
14. And Beaton is looking to double his lead. Kicks off 180.
1-2-5 finish, followed by 180 to start. Steve Beaton, we keep using this phrase, rolling back the years, but he really is. We've seen on the Players' Championship a plethora of different winners this year. 9 different winners from 12 events so far. Could Steve Beaton make it 13? Anderson makes it to 180 for him.
$125.
Well, the 1-2-5 for Beaton leaves him 56 for a potential 11 dart leg. And when you've just managed to steal that opening leg and hold your throw, this is exactly what the doctor ordered, to break the world number 2, and that's exactly what he's done. A 12 darter finished on double top, and Steve Beaton 2-0 up.
It's one of those throws as well that Steve Beaton possesses, that everyone just envies, don't they? It's
96.
really aesthetically pleasing. A lot of players would say Steve has the best throw, and when it's on, it does look fantastic.
Yeah, it really
140.
does. But Steve Beaton only has 2 PDC titles to his name in his entire career in PDC darts. The most recent was a European Tour title,
99.
the German Darts Masters, but that's going back 4 years. You've got to go back another 4 years for his other title when he beat Wes Newton in a Pro Tour event.
140.
Go back 21 years since he was crowned world champion, Steve Beaton. Just a couple of years since Gary Anderson
100.
enjoyed that feat. Back-to-back wins for Gary Anderson, of course, at Alexandra Palace. Beaton finalist last time out.
Well, Steve Beaton has always said, I will pack up if I
Watch.
don't think I've got the game to mix it with these guys. It may not turn up on as regular a basis as it does for Gary Anderson, but look what he is doing here.
138.
Right now, Anderson unable to live with Steve Beaton. That's what's
95.
happening here.
For 3-0, 16 for double. Double 16 for the Bronze Adonis.
36.
And he misses outside.
And he looked at that for just a fraction longer than he has any other target before in this match. Anderson may only get a shot at the bullseye. That's all he
61.
got. And he didn't find the target. Beaton returns for 3-0.
James shot.
This could actually be happening. Steve Beaton could be claiming his first PDC title for 4 years and only a third of his career. He has been in 9 finals before now.
140.
He's lost to some of the biggest names in the game. Now, beaten by the likes of Chisnell, whom he beat today, Michael Van Gerwen,
140.
James Wade, Whitlock, Taylor.
$180.
Well, Anderson firing in a max. Don't want to make Gary Anderson angry. It was all fun and games
140.
before they started, but Anderson has just flicked on the serious switch because he knows this task is becoming more and more difficult.
137.
Well, Gary Anderson in his career has gone on runs. When he's made finals, he's had periods where he's lost lots one after another. He's had periods where he's won lots after another. He
43.
started this year off, got to 3 finals, lost them all. But he's won the next 3, and he's looking at tops to get a first leg on the board. And he does get it. It's a 12-dart reply for Gary Anderson. It just gives him something against Steve Beaton here.
Well, they do say it comes in threes, Dan. Lost 3, won 3, lost the first 3 legs in this final.
135.
And you also have to go back to 2014 for the last time Steve Beaton
96.
beat Gary Anderson as well. That was in the heat of Gibraltar.
Yeah, the Bronze Adonis going on to make the final.
140.
That was, of course, when he was beaten by James Wade.
120.
Oh, wow. Well, it would have been a 4th maximum in 4.5 legs for the world number 2. But Beaton
96.
leaves himself 130. Double chance shot that. Could get a go at double 5, could get a go at the bullseye. May not get a dart at double at all.
In the semi-final match against Rob Cross, he took out
97.
124 in leg 1, 120 in leg 2, and missed doubles for 2 further ton plus checkouts. So he has been threatening in this range. It doesn't matter because Anderson's back on
55
188.
left.
Just needs to tidy it up and leave
94.
himself poised for a 4-1 lead.
Well, that is a 4th maximum for the Flying Scotsman. Leaves him double 4. But do you expect Beaton to miss?
shot.
No, you do not. 13 darter, the Bronze Adonis, is edging closer to the title.
Well, Gary Anderson would have been one of the names on everyone's lips at the start of today when
140.
asked who would walk away with a £10,000 winner's cheque. Not many would have mentioned Steve Beaton. We did
95.
say before, a couple of finals last year, but 4 years since Steve Beaton tasted sweet victory He's only 2 legs away.
97.
Well, look, I saw Steve Beaton after his victory over Kirk Shepherd, his second 6-0 of the day. And I did just give him a little smile and say, hey, it's going all right for you today. And all he did was spread his hands, shrug his shoulders and say, life in the old dog yet. Well, look how much life there is in the old dog.
100.
Certainly too many who look to have been enjoying themselves. Beaton just made sure he's left an outshot. If Gary Anderson can't take out a huge one, Steve Beaton might land a whopper himself.
99.
For the biggest one of the lot. Oh, it's not going to happen.
70 scored.
But he leaves himself a 2-darter. Gary Anderson to close the gap. Tops he wants. Double 10. And there it is. Gary Anderson does cut the gap to 2 legs, but there is still a huge amount of work to do.
Last meeting between this
97.
pair was at the World Match Play. Just under a year ago, that tournament, of course, just around the corner again. And Steve Beaton, by the way,
100.
probably going to get himself in the World Match Play as a result of this run to the final today.
Well, it's already a significant day for Steve Beaton, but it could
134.
become even more significant. Steve Beaton has made a lot of money from darts, and he's, you know, one of the most in-demand players on the exhibition circuit,
140.
hugely popular. And with more money in the game than ever, then obviously he can make a good living. But it's the glory he wants. He wants to be winning, and he wants to be winning this today. And that 180 for Steve Beaton is his second of this final, and it leaves him 90 to put him within a leg of his first title in 4 years.
And he's got time on his side. Because Anderson's not on an outshot, so the
47
miss
scored.
might not matter. Anderson will look to apply some pressure. Beaton
171, sorry, yeah.
should have been on at least a double.
$99.
These two laughing and joking. There is never, I'm not sure there's ever been a game involving Steve Beaton where there's been any bad blood at all. Double 16 for 5-2. Double 8 just next door. And he does not miss. It is another leg in 15 darts or fewer. And Steve Beaton knows that just one leg in the next 4 will make this a day to remember.
Well, he wants it now. Anderson off without a treble in his first visit to the board. Beaton found 2.
140. $96.
There's just constantly one treble for visit minimum, it seems, from Steve Beaton. It has been consistent. Gary Anderson, look, this is a man who only dropped 3 legs in the last 3 matches
96.
all against seeded players. Michael Smith, Kim Hybrex, Darryl Gurney. But Beaton has just had too much for him so far.
130.
And that 133 gets him down to a finish, and he'll get a look at 150 for the title.
Go on, Steve Beaton. 3 bullseyes to win it. Well, he's not going to win it in this visit. Anderson will get a shot at this 68
60.
to stay alive, to pinch Steve Beaton's walk-on song.
Only going to get 1 dart. It's a double top.
Game
And he
shot.
does hit it. Gary Anderson clutch finishing. And it's 5-3. This leg for Beaton. He has the throw. If he can convert that
99.
advantage, he has not been broken in this match. If that trend continues, we have another new winner on the Pro Tour in 2017.
100.
But it is an old face.
Certainly is. 53 years of age, Steve Beaton. And
180.
could be about to pick up his 3rd PDC title. Wonderful stuff, a 180. Anderson replies with a 140.
140.
Beaton is on the brink.
Gary Anderson is not letting Steve Beaton win this. Steve Beaton is going out and grabbing it. Ton 80, ton 40, leaves 82 for a potential 11 darter and the third PDC title of his career.
140.
What an achievement this would be for the Bronze Adonis.
17 then. For double top. To beat Gary Anderson, to win his third PDC title, his first for 4 years. What
Cheers,
a
Steve.
magical
Oh, Gary.
moment we have just witnessed. Steve Beaton rolling back the years to win Players' Championship 13 here in Wigan. In the heat of the battle, Steve Beaton was the best man on the day, beating the world number 2, Gary Anderson, in today's final. Wonder how Steve Beaton must be feeling after that. Well, we are going to find out in a few moments because Dan Dawson is hot-footing it down there to speak to him. And there he is with our champion. Here he is, Steve Beaton, your winner.
Steve, come on here, mate. We're going to talk into this one here. Steve Beaton, the Bronze Adonis, your third PDC title of your career. When you came here today, did you think this was a possibility?
To be funny, yeah, I did actually, because I've been trying so hard all year, and last night I lost in the Europeans, and I thought, you've got to try harder. You've got to try harder. And the funny thing was, I played the bloke. He beat me yesterday, and I couldn't believe the way the draw came out. And but I played well all day. I played really well all day.
Yeah, it was Matthew Dennen. Matthew Dennen beat Steve in the Euro qualifier last night, but you came out the blocks. You averaged, by my reckoning, somewhere around 105, won it 6-0. And when you start off a day like that, do you think, yeah, this could happen?
Well, yeah, you've got to. I mean, I went to bed last night thinking, I want to get in the match play. I don't want to miss the match play. And I think this hopefully has secured me into the match play. But no, every game's tough. You got to fight for every game. And today, I mean, if you'd asked me last night or win tomorrow, then I'd said, oh, lovely, yeah. To win today and to play Gary in the final was even better.
I saw you earlier on after you just beaten Kirk Shepherd 6-0, your second 6-0 win of the day, and all you did was say, life in the old dog, yeah. That's always been your mantra, hasn't it? When you think you've got the game, and when it turns up on those days, you can beat everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean, today was great. I mean, it's boiling hot in here. I love it. The hotter it is, the better, because, I mean, you get so used to it. And, no, I mean, you can't disrespect anybody, but you all come in with, everybody wants to win. And maybe I just tried harder than everybody else today. I really, really, really want to win today.
When you look at the huge names, the calibre of players that have come and gone in the time that you've been playing darts, is there a sense of pride involved with that to see, I'm still here, I'm still competing, I'm still beating the best players in the world, and I'm still winning titles?
Yeah. I mean, I view them all as my mates because, we've gone through so many years, Eric and all of them really, and to be still competing to me is brilliant. There's worse jobs in the world, and this to me is, it is hard work, but it's one of the jobs that I really enjoy, and I love darts, and what else could you do really? I try my harder, and I think everybody tries the harder, but I was today made up for so many years really.
Well, look, you're not done yet, Steve. This is it. I mean, we often see that when a player does hit a bit of form and maybe goes and wins something, it can be a sign that there's even more to come. You must be feeling hugely optimistic about what could happen here tomorrow for Players' Championship 14, for the match play, for all the other big tournaments over the course of the year.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but tomorrow could be a different game. We could go out first round tomorrow. You just don't know tomorrow. I mean, whoever you draw, that's the way the format is, which is really good, really. You've always got to be on your toes, and you've always got to be playing well, or you're out. You're on your way home. And today it's been my day. I've played really well all day, and I've got the dividends at the end of it.
What is the secret to your longevity?
53 now. I'm still fit. Fit as
a fiddle.
It's a fiddle.
And what Steve Beaton, huge effect on his ranking. Hopefully that means we'll see him in the match play in Blackpool, but we will see him tomorrow here at Players